One of the more rambunctious members of the GOP House Caucus is Matt Gaetz. If you're unfamiliar who he is, he's a short little fellow with a gigantic head. And very, very early during the Democrats' takeover of every single branch of politics, they decided to go real hard against Matt Gaetz. For what exactly? Well, sex trafficking, something the Democrats know quite a lot about. Just ask the Clintons. Well, actually don't if you take your health seriously. But as that investigation started to unravel, and this has been going on for a long old time, okay, I've been keeping tabs on it. I've done a couple of videos on it, and I never really thought that there was anything to these charges. Oh my god, he was bringing an underage staffer across state lines, knocking over mailboxes. That's a man act. It's like, okay, you got anything concrete on that? Oh, he was paying for a hotel. It's like, okay, she was working on the campaign, and then it was even kind of nebulous if he knew about this person was actually somebody he was directly working with, or maybe it was just also trying to lump somebody into his circle that's associated with what his father was doing. But of course, because it's a loud and aggressive Republican, the media's obviously going to run with this very salacious story. So we'll catch everybody up to speed on this, okay? And this is from Huffington Post, so you know it's going to be just right peak top quality journalism. And that's Huffington Post from 2022, not from back in the cut when they were first founded, which is a totally different animal. Anyways, Matt Gaetz, the Florida congressman who has spent much of the past 2 years under federal investigation. Oh, it's so funny how quickly the FBI can work when they're going against somebody that they're politically motivated to investigate. Just fucking weird coincidence. For alleged sex trafficking, oh my god, he's gonna get that sex trafficking badge on top of it. Oh, well, he was investigated. Was he ever indicted? Well, I don't want to spoil the entirety of the video now, do I? Won his GOP primary on Tuesday. Yeah, by a lot, because again, whenever you lob these political attacks that just really lack any sort of substance just because you want to paint the opposition, the ones that you're scared of, which is so stupid, you go after the ones that you're actually frightened of. You just point them out of the crowd. Like, if this would have came against somebody who nobody actually knew, like, I don't know who's from the 8th district of Kansas, like whatever fucking Republican is not, watch it end up being a big name or some shit like that. I'm just trying to think of somebody from the middle of bumfuck nowhere who doesn't say anything, never gets the headlines, just shows up, votes with the party, collects a paycheck, done and done. Just a rank and file member of the House, campaigns every 2 years, and then just lives in parties in Washington. That's what most of them end up doing, because how many members of the House do you actually know by name? I do this shit consistently, okay? And I could probably off the top of my head only name like a dozen. I'm not, just for the sake of brevity and for obvious reasons, I'm not going to waste your guys' time to flex my so-called knowledge, but just know that there's more people that just turn up, collect the badge year after year, and then just continue to suckle off of the government tit than actually go out there and do good things for their constituents, party notwithstanding. So I got some respect for some of the Democrats that, even though, hey man, I don't agree with any of their policies, the people that elected them on those policies, and they go through on them. But let's get back to this. So yeah, Matt Gaetz won his GOP primary Tuesday. This was back at the end of August. Okay, this was the last time this was updated. And of course, Matt Gaetz won his primary. He's a sex trafficker. Okay, where have we seen this narrative go on before? Anyways, likely ensuring another term, representing his deep red Panhandle district. Yeah, the Panhandle of Florida. It depends on what area it is, and I think it's close. It's in the Tallahassee area, so it's either more or less Georgia or more or less Alabama. So again, it's going to be whoever comes out of that primary ends up getting it. Gaetz beat back a challenge from Vietnam War veteran. Oh God, so trying to get some young blood into the Republican Party. Great. Former FedEx executive Mark Lombardo, who had focused his campaign on Gaetz's legal woes. Yeah, he got so much dark money, it's not even funny. A lot of establishment hacks that are out there. You kind of seen the exact same playbook materialize for the likes of, what's her name, Karen Taylor Robeson, for the gubernatorial debate, or for the gubernatorial race in Arizona. Okay, Liz Cheney, very obvious example right there. Mark Lombardo, cut from that same cloth. According to the New York Times, another beacon of absolute honesty and journalism. Like, I don't even need to walk it back like I did for the Huffington Post. New York Times has always sucked dick. The Justice Department had been investigating whether Matt Gaetz broke federal law by recruiting women online for sex and paying them. If that was actually the case, wouldn't he be under investigation for more things than just simple sex trafficking? Interesting. Okay. Including someone who would have been only 17 at the time. what's the age of consent in Florida? I think it's 6. I don't really care. Here's just a little bit of information for life. If you ever find yourself in that situation where you need to unironically look up age of consent laws, just fucking don't. Don't play with that fire. Gaetz denied having ever paid a woman for sex, and no indictments have been disclosed. Yeah, because this dude right here, if we're taking a look at the Core 4 Money Muscles game frame, pause. No, he's not a bad-looking dude, okay? He's in good shape. He's not like one of those fat slobs that are also in Congress. He's a little short, but hey, man, you can overcome all of that shit because he's very charismatic when he's in front of a microphone. He's head of a bunch of different smaller caucuses within the Republican Party. I'm pretty sure he's one of, if not the figurehead for the America First little pack that's in there as well. People know his name. And then all the way over top of that whole Core 4 aspect, okay, that dude's clouded out the asshole so he can get any fucking bitch that he actually wants. And especially if anybody has a political inclination, specifically within his district, yeah, man, it's fucking game over. So this whole idea that he needed to pay for box never really sat well with me. The allegation surfaced in April of 2021, linked to the arrest of Joel Greenberg, oy vey, a former tax collector. You can't make this stuff up, kids. For Seminole County on a sex trafficking charge. Okay, so somebody else got charged. Okay, this is how all this stuff worked out. Joel Greenberg used to work for Matt Gaetz' dad, who again, deep ties to that district right there. That's why Matt Gaetz got the position. Okay, this is one instance where nepotism actually kind of paid off because Matt Gaetz is a pretty good fucking congressman. Let's just keep it a buck. Usually such revelations would sink a political career. No, when there's actual receipts on it, then it tends to tank a career. But when it's just such an obvious slime job for somebody who was very vocal in his support for Donald Trump at a time when it wasn't popular to do so, this is only going to make him a staple in federal politics for however long he wants. But Gaetz has used the exposure instead to burnish his pro-Donald Trump credentials in his party and was rewarded with Trump's endorsement Saturday. Of course, and it was never in question that he would ever get that endorsement. Let's keep it a buck. Gaetz, Trump said on his Truth Social platform, where he posts after he was kicked off of Twitter. Oh my God, like that's just a fucking mark of denigration at this point. That fucking platform is dying quicker than an Amazon streaming service. Would fight the never-ending witch hunt from the radical left that are destroying our country. Yeah, no, it makes sense. We know that these so-called justice departments aren't simply going after Trump. It's everybody who he's associated with. Gaetz is one of several members of Congress who were said to have had asked Trump for pardons. Oh my God. Yeah, it's almost like they could see the writing on the wall, the bloodthirsty horde at the gates. Because I also remember the likes of AOC saying we want names of Trump supporters so we can put them on a fucking list. Yeah, imagine that. Asking the president at the time, hey, do you mind pardoning us just in case any fucking weird shit goes down into the future? That would be great. Like, that's not an unreasonable conversation to be having. Are you I see who they're fucking referencing here next, okay? This bitch. Cassidy Hutchinson, a former aide to Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who also testified at the oh my God, what was that? The January 6th committees where it said, oh my God, Trump was sitting in the back of the Beast limousine, tried to do some Aikido into the front seat and then just strong-armed several Secret Service men in order to get back to the Capitol so he could lead an insurrection. This fucking bitch, this 26-year-old little piece of ass totally fucking making up a story, okay, just because she got spurned, because also some other posts from beforehand. I remember doing this video as well. She was looking so forward to working with Trump down there at Mar-a-Lago, but then went, looks like your resume didn't exactly make it to my desk, so I won't be needing your assistance on this. Suddenly magically changed her tune. Oh my God, Trump was just so evil, and he threw a plate with ketchup at a wall. It was terrible. That's nice. Haven't heard much from her lately. I'm sure you can probably talk with her one-on-one for $10 a month on a certain online platform right now. Probably comes accompanying with a signed Polaroid if you just, hey, put it in the custom request. Oh, but she was the first one to say at a congressional panel probing January 6th Capitol attack. It's so nice that they don't even call it an insurrection at this point, because where's the proof on that? Attack the Gaetz sought a blanket pardon. Oh, okay, cool. So he was one of many people to say, hey, you should probably pardon your boys. Cool. Yeah, that means that, Gaetz knows that the walls are closing in. Yeah, sure thing. The congressman has not shied away from controversy despite the swirl of allegations around him. Yeah, it's almost like when you're a public figure, people are going to say dumb shit around you. And then if you have the receipts to prove that, in fact, yeah, all of this shit is fucking horse shit. I should say shit more. That's more grammatically correct. When you can obviously prove that this is politically motivated and a transparent witch hunt, all you need to do is just wait it out. Because at the end of the day, we've been seeing, especially, it's been very, very concentrated over the past 2 years of the amount of corruption that's out there. But when it comes to the courts outside of Minnesota, put all of that stuff aside, normally the courts are going to be all right. I do hazard to say that, of course. The civil court, though, that's a completely different animal. I'm talking specifically about the Alex Jones stuff. But here we go from earlier today. Prosecutors recommend against charging GOP Representative Matt Gaetz in sex trafficking probe. Report says, oh, it's almost like he didn't do anything and they just tried to use that in order to smear him. And now he's more popular than ever. And now he can campaign on the fact that, oh yeah, the FBI and the DOJ, who, again, the base of Republicans out there already think are acting politically motivated, ended up going through this years-long investigation, theoretically, into Matt Gaetz in only an effort to smear his reputation on the public stage. It's almost like that's a tentpole talking point for the Republicans heading into the midterms, and then you just automatically serve this shit up. You should have known this was coming. It's so weird. He has such a giant head and a small face. Anyways, federal prosecutors have recommended not to bring charges against Republican Representative Matt Gaetz as part of a sex trafficking investigation. Yeah, the Washington Post reported Friday. I wanted to use the source document on that, but, you know, Washington Post likes to use a paywall because God knows Bezos needs to recoup some of his money. He owns that shit, by the way, in case you forgot. Citing people familiar with the matter, the prosecutor said they made that decision in part because the credibility question on 2 central witnesses. Oh, those people told the Post. Oh, okay, cool. Same people who said, he trafficked me. And it's like, can you provide any evidence of that? He did it. Oh, okay. The report recommendation means that the Department of Justice is unlikely to charge Gaetz, 40, with the crime as a result of the probe. Yeah, that's normally what it means. He didn't fucking do anything, and you guys just slandered him for a cunt hair under 2 years. So now, Matt Gaetz, if anybody, I'm sure he's probably also going to have an ear to the floor on this one. If anybody's going to be coming forward and making these and repeating these same allegations, he's a sex trafficker. Oh, lawsuit. It's going to be so fucking delicious that's out there. I can't wait for it. Hold these motherfuckers accountable. The investigation began in 2020 and centered on the Florida congressman's alleged relationship with a 17-year-old girl years earlier. Again, nice up-to-date claims that you're making right here. She was so traumatized by the event, it took her until when it was politically expedient for her to do so, not when he was originally, campaigning to become a congressman. Odd timing, I guess. Well, the recommendation is not a final decision. Oh, you fucking big cope right here. The Post sources said new evidence could emerge that changes the prosecutor's view. No, if they've been investigating it for 2 years, what fucking new evidence is going to show up? It's nothing. Stop it. You guys lost. Move on with your day and stop repeating the lie. Advice is likely to be upheld, the report said. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing since the New York Times first reported in March of 2021 that the DOJ was investigating whether he had a sexual relationship with an underage girl and paid him for her travels. See what they do here? See, they admit right out front, it's like, he's not going to face any charges because he didn't do anything wrong. But here are the charges, so they're still fresh in your mind. Fuck you, CNBC. Fuck you, Washington Post. And I hope that Matt Gaetz keeps that same energy for anybody who decides to repeat that goddamn lie, because this is what you need to do. You need to hold the liars out there to the same fucking standard. They've been fighting in the mud for years at this point, and the Republicans, you need to act with more dignity than that. Well, guess what? Guess how far that's got you. Take a look around. No, it's about time to start fighting back. So yeah, good on Matt Gaetz. Chalk one up for your boy too, because hey, I've been down with this dude since day one. So tell you what, guys, I don't fucking miss. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.